Hey, Richard, good morning.
Morning.
What are you looking at?
Coyote.
Where?
What is
Is it
that? 7. Over by the volleyball court now.
a freaking coyote again?
Oh.
Oh, right here. Let's see. Oh, there he is. What the heck is going on here? They're coming out for my show, Richard, the morning briefing. Whoa. Yeah, I see these guys here every once in a while. All right, there's a coyote running down the beach here in Surfside as we get ready for the morning briefing, everybody. Richard, good to see you, my friend.
Oh, nice of Andrew Wynn to have visited with Dan Lightfoot and yours truly. Andrew has a white sea bass, 20-inch white sea bass, a halibut, and that crab. High tide is 12 noon today. There's still time for you to take advantage of it.
On September 24th through the 26th, we'll be on board the Apollo, and you are invited for this very special 2-day trip. It is limited to only 21 anglers, includes all meals, and should be fantastic. This is when we have our best weather months in the fall, and the Apollo, they've been on their game this year. Outstanding fishing and really nice weather. Then we're going to switch over to the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California for another 2-day adventure. October 6th through the 8th should be another great trip. Tanner, Cortez Bank, and anywhere else the fish are. Don't forget, text me at 657-227-6459 to get on board the Apollo and or the Amigo. Best weather months of the year, and hopefully lots of fish for you to catch. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California this lovely Sunday morning. I can't emphasize enough to you how beautiful it is here. It's sunny, it's warm, it's a gorgeous sunrise. There's coyotes on the beach. We're going to go up to Alaska and see what my niece Connie Friedman is doing. We're going to talk about bluefin tuna. We'll go south of the border. We'll look at San Francisco. There is so much going on this morning. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. It's already been an eventful morning, and it's just sunrise. I mean, we tried to hook up with Sam De La Torre down in Cedros Island. Check out that live transmission. I'll tell you right up front that we were unable to hook up with Sam, but I went into great detail about what they caught. And tomorrow on our live show, that is Tackle, Shop, Confessions. We will have all of that Cedros adventure for you all. We'll be covering it all and talking so much more about everything you need to know about Cedros Island. That's live. You can ask questions. 6 p.m. Monday night. Tackle, Shop, Confessions. Really looking forward to it. Boy, I'll tell you, there is so much going on. I don't know where to start. Why don't we start with, hey, unfiled taxes? Call our man, Tim Marquez. Tim is standing by right now for you. And actually, he's at Cedros Island flying home right now. But Tim's been doing taxes for 35 years. Give him a call if he can help you out. And also, heating and or air conditioning needs. Oh, I know a lot of you are out there like baked potatoes with this high heat, and you need your air conditioning fixed. You can do that by, of course, calling John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. Okay, and one more thing as I digress. I'm about to break into tears because Notre Dame season has been destroyed. Perhaps I'm being a little bit over dramatic. Perhaps not. They should have won that game against Northern Illinois. I watched about, I don't know, an hour of that game, and then I said, I'm out of here. I can see what's going to happen here. My son Philip suffered through the entire game and said they looked absolutely awful. So once again, we'll watch this for you very, very closely. I know a lot of Notre Dame haters out there are jumping for joy. Howard Hatta, a big USC fan and a great guy. He's been rubbing it in already, so I'm ready for a year of torture now, no question. about that. All right, let's go south of the border and check out what's going on down there in beautiful Ensenada. Those bluefin tuna that are offshore down there are one day biting and one day they are not. Sometimes, though, it gets really good, and it's not all that far past Todos Santos Islands, 10, 12, 15 miles. You start to encounter bluefin tuna. Sometimes they're all show and no go. Other times they bite a little bit more. You can catch them on the poppers. You can catch them on a surface iron. You can catch them on the trolled Mad Max. That's the preferred way to do it. Some days, as I say, they bite. Some days they do not. Inshore, there's still bird schools of yellowtail that you can find. Sometimes they bite and sometimes they don't. On the weekends, you get a lot of boat pressure on it. It shoves that bite down. Seems to want to rebound on Monday and or Tuesday. They get a little break from the boat pressure. They poke their heads up and say, okay, I think it's okay now. Let's go up there and eat that sardine. And then you can toss an iron on them and catch them. Still some barracuda flurries down there around Santo Tomas and copious amounts of colorful and great eating rockfish for all of you. So that is still in the game down there in beautiful Ensenada. Long-range fishing has been outstanding, and it remains that way. We have seen some of the best long-range summertime fishing we've seen in decades out of San Diego. I'm talking 7 to 8 day trips, a journey down several hundred miles, like 500 miles to the Alijos Rocks region, the Ridge, the 23 Fathom spot. I mean, there's a variety of different places you can fish. Some are really good for wahoo. That's backed off a little bit currently, but it's been a great wahoo season. Some are good for the yellowtail. Sometimes it's dropper loop fishing at night, especially around the rocks. Other times it's a fly line bait or a surface iron. That has been really, really good here recently. And the yellowfin tuna bite has been spectacular this year. Not only because the intensity of the bite is off the charts, it's been wide open where you can get a bite on 100-pound, but because the grade of fish has been so beautiful, 40 to 80-pound yellowfin tuna. Sure, there's some smaller fish mixed in there with it, and then you'll get the occasional 100-plus pounder, but most of it in that 40 to 80-pound class. Beautiful grade of fish, and that has been the rule for the long-range boys. As they come home, they'll go into the Baja Coast where they have found some excellent white sea bass fishing at times. Also, big calico, sheephead, rockfish, whitefish, and so much more. It can be spectacular on the way home. And also, they hit some spots, rockfish spots, that don't get hit all that often. It gets all kinds of big reds and nice big lengths and so much more. Can't say enough about the long-range season there out of San Diego, as it has been spectacular. Really, really great stuff going on. Hey, I mentioned my niece, Dr. Connie Friedman. She's up in Alaska, and she was fishing for salmon yesterday. Said, Uncle Philip, I hope I can get a salmon. Well, she hooked one and fought it and lost it at the very last minute. Connie, there's way more fish to come. And besides that, her friend Erica was fishing next to her, got a nice salmon. So they will be dining on salmon here soon. And once again, I've got to thank those of you who are out there. Connie's a doctor in Ventura, and many of you, like Robert Graber and Bella and Eddie Berrigan and so many others, when they are fishing out of Ventura now, I can't believe how wonderful they are, because they send me a text and say, hey, would Connie like some fish? And so many times I've been arranging Connie going to the landing and picking up fish from so many of you. And on behalf of Connie and for yours truly, that means a lot. I remember when Connie was that big out fishing with me and my two sons, Philip and Patrick, and her brother, Eddie. We used to have so much fun. And it's good to see her continuing out there fishing away. Good stuff indeed. Daniel Holloway and the Island Spirit are out on their Kids Fish Free trip today. They've got great trips lined up for you next week. The Island Spirit runs out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing, and you can get on board, and you're going to love the Island Spirit by calling 805-676-3474. They're wonderful people. They do a great job. You're definitely going to want to take advantage of that. You can book also by going to www.venturasportfishing.com. All right, so some really good stuff going on south of the border, and we'll continue to watch that for you very closely. Out to Tanner and Cortez Bank we go, and the weather is gorgeous. Look at this, and it really extends out there. I've got a weather alert coming up for you, however. I'm not sure that's going to last for a long, long time. Still some big bluefin tuna being taken out there, no question about it. Michael Howe on the Ocean Odyssey. Michael, great catch, 160-pound BFT for Michael. The nighttime bite has been fabulous. If I were to give you an overall picture, you're catching those 15 to 40-pound bluefin tuna on Tanner and Cortez Banks during the daytime on a fly line bait. Sometimes, most of the times, that is a plunker bite. So it's not full speed. You got 20 going. Everybody's running around like a chicken with their heads cut off. It's not that kind of a bite. Most of the time, it is a plunker bite. 1 going, 3 going, no fish going, like that, okay? And when you have a bite like that, you got to work hard at it. You got to drop that fluorocarbon down to 25, sometimes smaller hooks and good hot baits, and a long soak. In other words, leaving your bait in the water for 5 minutes, even a little bit longer than that's been a very effective way to catch those fish. Every day is different. It may change. That long soak may not work when you're out there tomorrow. So be observant. Watch what is going on around you. Soak it all in and do what the guys are doing that are getting a bite. That makes all the difference in the world. There's been some really great fishing. I gotta love what's going on board the Highliner. I've been talking to Max. I talked to him a lot, but the last couple of days, and they have a family charter, which is a rent rod charter. That is to say, novice anglers who've never done this before. The other day, they got to the zone at 3:30 in the morning, and we're thinking to themselves, there's not a whole lot of time here. But Max dropped down a jig and promptly hung a really nice bluefin tuna. He hung 7 fish and passed them off to the family. And this family, novice anglers, were able to achieve something in sport fishing that many of us who've been in this game for decades have never achieved. Giant, nice, big bluefin tuna, ranging from 40 to over 100 pounds. Last night, same family, after a day of bluefin tuna fishing, fished that stuff, and it was another great one. 17 bluefin tuna for 6 anglers that were fishing. Many of those other anglers were snoring away soundly in their bunks. Another beautiful night. So this morning, the family said, this has been a dream come true. It's been absolutely fabulous, but my freaking back is killing me right now. Can we do like some calico bass at Clemente? So they're into some really good calico bass fishing this morning, having a great time on the Highliner, and that is all super good stuff. The Apollo will be out with those guys in just a little bit, September 24th through the 26th. 18 guys, 79 bluefin tuna, and 8 white sea bass, illustrating just how close to San Clemente Island you can be and how there are still sea bass and yellows at the island that you can take advantage of. No question about that. Tradition day and a half trip, 44 bluefin tuna, several big scores, some nice fishing last night. Again, the Thunderbird out of Davies Lock and Newport Beach. We love the Thunderbird. Dana Wharf Rod and Reel Club out with those guys. They covered a lot of ground on their one-day trip. They ended up with 24 bluefin tuna and 14 nice, fat yellowtail, the grade of yellowtail. For the most part, on Tanner, on Cortez, at Clemente, it's been beautiful. I think they've been feeding on that squid all year long. So some really good stuff going on. That Tanner Cortez Bank bite, really, really good. The weather out there is gorgeous. It's supposed to get very nasty come Tuesday evening, and Wednesday looks like it could really blow out there. It's still far enough out where it could be inaccurate, so we'll keep our eyes on it for you very, very closely. But I want to give you that weather alert right now, as it's going to go from flat calm to kind of windy. We get those kind of windy conditions when we have high heat, so we'll have to see what happens. Remember, when you get into the fall, that's normally when we have our best weather months in both Baja California and Southern California. So we'll keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely. Some good offshore fishing going on. Now, the guys that are fishing full day out of San Diego, that is to say, they leave in the morning and come back that very same day, have been seeing the fish, but they don't want to bite. It's been pretty tough for many of the boats fishing offshore right now out of San Diego. In fact, the boat, the San Diego, out of Seaforth Sport Fishing, said, man, there's a lot of yellows around here. There's a lot of bluefin tuna, and there's a lot of bait. And these fish don't want to come off that bait to bite our hooks, and I don't blame them. Well, actually, I do blame them, dirty rats. Anyway, they saw a lot of fish on the San Diego, but it didn't want to bite. that well at all. I think they ended up with 7 yellows on their full day trip. There were boats that blanked out offshore, didn't catch anything. So once again, those guys are working hard. They got the binos up to their eyes 24/7 when they're offshore. They're looking for a kelp or a breezer or a color spot or something like that. And what I'm trying to tell you all is they're working their tails off for you. Sometimes they bite and sometimes they don't. That is the offshore scene right now in San Diego. So we'll continue to watch that for you very closely. If you're headed to Catalina Island, the El Patron can make it happen for you out of Long Beach Sport Fishing. Speedy, great boat, wonderful crew, great food. What more could you possibly ask for? It's www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Get on the El Patron. Let's go to the islands now and talk a little bit about what is going on at the islands. Down there at the Coronado Islands, it's okay, but on the weekends, you're going to get that boat pressure, and it's going to more than likely shut it off on us. It's been, I want to say, 20 to 40 yellowtail. And by the way, how about that yellowtail that got lassoed on the Mission Belle? Is that an incredible story or what? The hook wasn't anywhere near its mouth. The guy lassoed this darn thing. He ought to try out for the Olympics in lassoing yellowtail. Actually, it was by accident, as you well know, but some pretty crazy stuff down there in San Diego. Mission Belle was back at the islands again, and they had 7 yellowtail and 2 bluefin tuna. There's some schools of bluefin very near to the islands right now. Around the tuna pens has been a pretty good area to find that bluefin tuna, but it seems like that boat pressure may have gotten to that bite, may get to it again here today. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, weekdays. Take a day off work and go when you have a real shot at this. Hopefully that boat pressure will come off as we push deeper into the fall, but probably not. You know, the islands are so close and they've been so good for so long that you're going to have a lot of pressure there if those yellows are still there. 25-pound fluorocarbon, smaller hook, good hot bait, some surface ironfish, some yo-yo ironfish at times. We'll keep our eyes on that for you very closely. Out at San Clemente Island, we've already mentioned Apollo had 8 white sea bass. There's some hits on the sea bass. There's some yellows on the fly line sardine. In the daytime, if you're there at night, you can dropper loop fish with 50-pound with live squid if you're able to make the live squid. Pretty brisk action there with some good calico bass fishing. Nobody ever gets to the calicos because they're after, you know, either bluefin or yellowtail, something like that. So once again, pretty good fishing there at Catalina Island. It's been up and it's been down. Little bit of bass. Sometimes it's pretty good. Never wide open. You fish a lighter fluoro, like 15-pound. You got a much better chance of making it happen. Also, another way to get some fish in the sack is to focus on rockfish. And the El Patron did that yesterday and loaded up everybody with some great eating bottom grabbers, as that bite was excellent yesterday. The pursuit's been out there, same thing, you know, a few barracuda, a few bonita, a few calico bass, you know, good rock fishing. That's been the rule there at Santa Barbara Island. Channel Islands mostly on the rockfish right now. The Island Spirit had a decent day yesterday on the rockfish. The Californian, same kind of a thing. Both boats out of Ventura Sport Fishing. We take a look at some of the other boys around town, and the Cobra had 5 halibut up there yesterday. The Island Tech had great calico bass fishing. They released 80 bass, something like that, and they had a couple of white sea bass, but predominantly we're talking about rockfish up there in Burgess, Morro Bay, Avila Beach, some really great rock fishing. And San Francisco, we've got albacore right offshore of there. Excellent, excellent fishing for albacore at times, not wide open, and most of it seems to be 8 to 15-pound fish, kind of a smaller grade of albie right now. There's also some excellent lingcod fishing, a few halibut up there, and copious amounts of rockfish. It has been spectacular up there out of San Francisco. I got to go up there and shoot a video with one of those boys here really, really soon, and I hope to do that soon. Don't forget, we're continuing our tackle drive. Used tackle is what we need, because we're going to take all this used tackle, rods, reels, whatever you can spare, down to the island of Cedros and distribute it to the kids down there. Kids down there need your help, and this is a great way for you to do it. You can drop that off at over in Bellflower, California, Young's Fishing Tackle. Here at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in Seal Beach. Island Fishing Tackle, Sam de la Torre. Hook, line, and sinker up there in Santa Barbara. Ventura Sport Fishing. You can drop that tackle off there. Eric's Tackle in Ventura. You can drop it off there. And am I forgetting anybody? I hope not. Those are the guys I think that are chipping in right now. And those are the only guys I've asked. It's not that these other guys, I got to get some San Diego guys and some other guys involved. I just haven't had time to ask. But every single time I ask somebody in this industry for some help, they come through. In fact, Robert Graber offered to take care of the pickups up there in the Channel Islands, just volunteered to me. And shortly after that, and Eddie didn't know, Eddie Berrigan, his daughter Bella said, anything you need, we'll pick up the tackle, we'll store the tackle, we'll do whatever you need. We deeply appreciate your kindness and generosity. All of you, thank you so very, very much. All right, let's get into our local bite down there in San Diego. It's been a tremendous 1/2 and 3/4 day year this year. It's been phenomenal fishing. Lots of bonito down there for the daily double, the new Seaforth, the dolphin. Also some good calico bass fishing, sand bass fishing. It's been pretty good. Sometimes you got to focus on one or the other, but that's also been good. And there's the occasional yellowtail down there also. Not wide open on that kind of stuff, but pretty darn good fishing going on. I'll tell you, it has been decent fishing for sure. I forgot to mention, or did I? Yeah, the Fury had a yellowtail and 4 white sea bass yesterday at San Clemente Island. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to leave those guys out. Coming up the coast, because we're headed toward Dana Wharf, down there around Oceanside, there's some good calico bass fishing up there in the Dana Wharf area. Occasional halibut being taken. Some good calico bass fishing. In fact, Chris Rank, Calico Chris, he was out on a recent trip here on the Some Fun. Jeff Z and Calico Chris with a 26 and 27-inch halibut. Calico Chris, nice going, Jeff Z. Way to go. Couple nice flatfish there mixed in with some whitefish and rockfish. And again, some good brisk calico bass action. A lot of shorts, but some pretty good stuff. Western Pride's been on fire on their half-day run out of Davies Locker in Newport Beach. They've been catching good calicos, and they did it again yesterday. They also had a yellowtail to go along with that. So some pretty darn interesting good stuff going on here in the LA Orange County area. Man, it's 90 degrees here early this morning. The ocean's flat calm, and we can't get a bass bite or a barracuda bite here this year in the local scene here out of Long Beach and San Pedro up into Marina del Rey. It's been mostly sculpin, whitefish, rockfish, occasional flurries of bass here and there, but no sustained, consistent action. I don't know what to tell you about that. And then we move you up there to the Channel Islands where it's been mostly rockfish, but you've heard there's some calicos, there's some sea bass up there in that neck of the woods. And don't forget Island Spirit going again tomorrow, trying to get out with a light load. You can call them at 805-676-3474. All right. Where else do we go now? Oh, we've got surf fishing to talk about. I spent an hour yesterday sitting down there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle, and there's at least 8 guys who came in and said, thank you so much for the morning briefing and everything you do at Friedman Adventures, and I thank you all very, very much. It was good spending time with Jose and with Rada and everybody that makes Big Fish Bait and Tackle so fantastic. They're giving away a free custom rod for the largest halibut. Free custom surf fishing rod for the largest halibut this year. No, this month. I'm all screwed up this morning. That Notre Dame thing's got my head all screwed up. This month, you catch the biggest halibut, and you can win that free custom rod. Next month, it's going to be another species. Not sure what it'll be, but every single month, a new custom surf fishing rod for you. So make sure you take advantage of that. You go into the store. I think the ruler that you need to purchase is $8, and then you're in the tournament for the rest of the year. I don't know how you can beat that. That is such a great deal. And they have all the bait you'll need and so much more. I see surf fishermen right down the beach here, and they're the same guys in the same place that were here yesterday, which indicates to me they might be catching some fishies down that way. There's a ton of guys working their way toward me right now. There's been some yellowfin croaker here, occasional halibut, spot fin croaker with a long cast, and some kind of bait like a worm works best of all. You know, it's a funny thing. Normally we have sandworms here, but we haven't found them this year. I don't know what is up with that. Sandworms feed on grunion eggs. We've had grunion here all summer long, but man, I'll tell you, just not seeing the sandworms. I might have to get out here with my shovel and see what's going on, because that is an exceptional bait for sure. All right, so some decent Corvina down there around Huntington Beach. We've been seeing some decent fishing down there in that neck of the woods. Also, we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. All right, my friends, I don't know what to tell you. Coyotes, and now Bigfoot, maybe. What the hell? Oh my God. Oh, wait a minute. That's Dan Lightfoot. Yeah. What's he doing here? I don't see Michael Limon anywhere. But Dan Lightfoot is spying on those surf fishermen right now, trying to ascertain whether or not it's worth it for him to run up to his car and grab his fishing rod. It is worth it because it's freaking beautiful here this morning. All right, you guys. I think I might have one more day of crying about Notre Dame. You know, this is how I take those kinds of things. That's my higher power telling me, what do you think you're going to waste all this time watching Notre Dame football this summer? Forget it. You got work to do on the morning briefing and the rest of your stuff. Forget that inconsequential football nonsense where you sit with your mouth hanging open for 3 hours doing that. You need to get to work. So that's how I'm taking this one, my higher power. If they would have won, of course, I would be saying my higher power came through for us. Once again, of course, my higher power, Jesus, is on the side of Notre Dame. But I'm going to have to spin it the other way in my mind here this morning. Have a great one. It's always great to be with each and every one of you coyotes on the beach. Dan Lightfoot, who looks like Bigfoot to me this morning. And again, some really great fishing going on. We'll watch that weather for you. We'll have another morning briefing. Tackle Shop Confessions is not only going to cover everything you need to know about a trip to Cedros Island tomorrow night live at 6, but we will cover all of this local fishing weather and have all the tackle that you need to be successful. You'll be able to ask questions. Make sure you put that on your calendar. 6 p.m. Monday night, Tackle Shop Confessions, as the group comes back from an outstanding trip to Cedros Island. How outstanding? 3 guys yesterday, Sam De La Torre was one of them, caught and released 63 yellowtail, 63 or 64. Tremendous fishing. Watching the yellows eat your jig. We'll have that all for you tomorrow. Hey, more updates during the day. If anybody lassoes a bluefin tuna or something, of course, it's my pleasure to spend time with you, and I hope to see you really, really soon.